Right, good morning everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel. This day, Elisa is here together with me to join me in this morning warm-up. So this is a nice short sequence that you can use just to warm up into your body as you start your morning practice or any practice during the day. Please subscribe to our channel. We see that a lot of you people that are watching our videos are not actually subscribed, so please just hit the little subscribe button and that will help us so much. Now let's get started with our nice morning warm-up. Wrists is where we're going to start. So we're going to come into our tabletop position. We're going to have our wrists underneath our shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and we're just going to make some nice gentle circles. And the circles can be big, they can be small. Just make them big enough that you feel that you warm up a little bit through your wrist, but you never want to feel any pain. So you always want to keep it nice and gentle as you move into your circles. And maybe as you start with some smaller circles, maybe over time you want to make them a little bit bigger. It's just optional, you can keep doing those small circles. Or you can move almost like you come into a upward facing dog type shape, maybe all the way back to like a child's pose. If anytime any of these moves gets a little bit too much for the wrists, just make them smaller again. And the next time when we come to the middle, we do the same circles but the other way around, counterclockwise if you moved clockwise. You always have the option to make them smaller again. And then gently make the circles a bit bigger. Also maybe moving a little bit with your shoulders and your spine either way as you warm up through your body. And then slowly we come back to the middle. Alright, another one for the wrist. Point the fingers to the outer edges of your mat. Find a nice grip with the fingers. Then press a little bit into the palm so that you find short and a little bit of protraction to the shoulders, and then gently move left to right. You can always play around with the distance between the hands, so maybe having them underneath the shoulders is perfectly fine. Maybe if you want, you can even bring them closer together that almost the insides of the wrist are touching. And keeping that good grip with the fingers, protecting our wrist by being strong, by giving a soft push in protraction through the shoulders. And here you gently sway left to right. And again, not moving further than necessary. You just want to warm up into the wrist. We don't want to feel any sort of pain or any bad sensation to our wrist, right? So just keep it nice and soft. And then gently coming back to the middle. Now, for now, we're going to bring our fingers towards our knees. So as we're going to rotate our hands, place our palms down, fingers are pointing towards the knees. Maybe here, this is already enough for you, right? So maybe this already feels very strong in the underarms. So you have the option to just stay here, or if you like to, and you have the space, move the knees slightly more back. Keep pressing the hands down into the mat. And from here, we can move our hips back to our heels. We keep our fingers down onto the mat. We're only going to lift our palms up from the floor. So as you move back, and forward. We go for 5 times. 2, and forward. 3, and forward. 4, forward. Last one. 5, and forward. Slowly walk your knees closer back into your fingers. Sit back onto your heels. Slowly release the hands. And just shake the hands a little bit. Just give them a little bit of a rotation, maybe some jiggling with the fingers, splashing some water, as Elisa always likes to say. All right. Then interlace the hands, grab the hands together, and just rotate the wrist. Now you can move gently and soft, or you can move a little bit faster, depending on what you feel your wrist needs. I like to move them nice and gently. Elisa moves them a little bit faster. All right, now we're going to switch the grip and switch the rotation. So open the fingers, the thumbs and pinkies are switching, and the rotation is going the other way than you're used to. So maybe it looks a little bit clunky if it's the first time. That's okay. And just notice maybe the difference as you move one way or the other. Let's keep them rolling for another little bit and shake the hands out. All right, coming to our cat and cow. So we're coming back to our tabletop position that we were in before. Again, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And we're going to our cat and cows. Now from our cat and cow, we want to start to move from our tailbone. So for our cow pose, start to lift the tailbone up to the sky, start to hollow the back. As you move through your spine, start to open the collarbones into the front. Feel like your heart is shining forward, maybe lifting the chin up. As you exhale, find your cat. Start from your tailbone, tuck them under, round through the spine, push the floor away through the hands. Find again the protraction in the shoulders. Chin comes towards the chest as last. And just keep moving through your back. Vertebra by vertebra. Every breath in is a cow pose. Every exhale is a cat pose as you round your spine. Move a couple more times through your breath. And again, your speed may be different than your partner's if you're practicing together like we do. And I want you to move on your own speed, on your own breath. So it doesn't matter if you move faster or slower as we do. Just find that rhythm that works for you. And feel nicely that articulation throughout your spine. It doesn't matter if it looks really fancy or not, or if you feel that you bend a lot or not. I always like to close my eyes during these cat and cow so I can really bring the awareness inward and focus on how it actually feels in my body and not caring how it looks. Just 2 more times on your own time through your cow into your cat. And of course, if you need more, you can always pause the video and keep going. And then you can always come back to where we left off after this cat. Coming back to neutral spine. All right. So we're going to step our left foot to the outside of our left hand. From here, we're just going to press our hips forward, feeling a little bit of opening into the hips. And as we exhale, Elisa tucks her toes under. I will keep my foot flat because we're going to move to a half split. As you exhale, you move back, find a half split. Elisa will stretch a bit further. I keep my knee bent. This is always an option. You just want to focus onto the hamstring. So if that means that you need to keep your knee bent, keep your knee bent. That's perfectly fine. On your next inhale, we come forward. Feel that we press the hips forward and down, maybe opening the heart a little bit forward. Maybe you even like to look up. And as you exhale, move back. As you inhale, move forward. As we exhale, we move back, half splits. One more time, as you inhale, move forward. Hold it here for a moment. If you like to, you can also, for this moment, open a foot maybe on the front, maybe 45 degrees. Get a little bit more work on that inner thigh. There's an option to keep the hands flat, stay on fingertips, or if you like to work with yoga blocks to stay a bit higher, feel free to always have your yoga block close by. Alright. Now we're going to move back to our half splits, and also here we're just going to stay for a couple of breaths. If you need to adjust at any moment, always feel free to just maybe walk the feet a bit further or move yourself a little bit more back. Find that you can find some comfort in this pose, again with the leg straight or slightly bent, whichever way it works for you. What I like to do also with my half split is press my heel down, just lift my toes up, so I feel a little bit more activation on the back line of my leg. I always like to find adaptations. I'm also not the most flexible guy, I don't have the longest hamstrings, so also I need to find just my adjustments where I can find them and make the practice my own. And I think that's something that we all are searching for. Alright, we can slowly lower the foot back down. And from here we just press both palms again into the floor, and we're going to bring our left knee back underneath our hip. Alright, if you need to, and maybe wiggle and shake a little bit, or move a couple times forwards and backwards to release that leg, feel free to do so. Any movement that feels good. And then we're just going to switch the leg. So we're going to use the right foot outside of our right hand. And again, as we step it forward, we start by pressing the hips forward. And stay again on the fingertips. And as we exhale, we move back into our half split. And again here, maybe keep your knee bent, press the heel down, lift the toes up. As you inhale, coming forward, feeling the length of that back leg, feeling that hip flexor extension. And exhale, moving back, half split. Again, if your hands need to come along to you underneath your shoulders, that's fine. You can keep them in front where they stay. Or you can move them along with you as you move forwards and backwards. Inhale, pressing the feet down, maybe using the hands to come back forward, press the hip forward. And again, exhale, moving back. Right, one more time, coming forward. This time holding it a little bit longer, and again, you can always check how it feels to maybe tuck the back toes under. That maybe helps to press the hips a little bit more forward. If it feels annoying for your toes, just keep the foot flat. It's all good. Just find your particular spot that you can feel more comfort, where you can breathe more relaxed and get the most benefit of your stretch. Alright, for a couple breaths, moving back, half splits. And again, also here, because we hold it just a couple breaths longer, maybe find a little bit of adjustment, maybe bringing the hands a little bit more back, maybe grabbing your yoga block if you have it at hand. Maybe sinking the hips a little bit more back. Maybe feeling a bit more activation by pressing the heel down, lifting the toes up. Maybe feeling that your chest can come a little bit more forward. It's not necessary to bend yourself always all the way down to touch your forehead down. Just feel more that you bring your heart to the front of the mat. At the same time, you find activation in that right leg as your right hamstring is stretching out. And take just another nice more breath in. And as you exhale, you slowly place the foot back down. Place both hands, bring the right knee back underneath the hip. Always option here to find just a little bit of movement, maybe a little bit of swaying, maybe a little bit of circles. And we slowly come back to the middle. Alright. So we're going to bring our left hand a little bit closer underneath to the middle of the mat, more towards the middle of your face. Then we're going to bring the right arm up to the sky, and we're going to thread the needle. So we inhale as we come up. As we exhale, our right arm comes underneath our left shoulder. The right shoulder is coming down to the floor. You can keep your left hand where it is, or you can walk your hand more forward, maybe find more of a lateral stretch here on the side. Or if you like to, you can grab the opposite hip by bringing the left arm up and over, grabbing the right hip. It's an option that you can take. Find a version that works for you. You can close your eyes here. We're just taking a couple of breaths here. Always know that you can switch the left arm to the previous position if it doesn't feel good in the way that you've put it maybe before. Last breath. And slowly bring the left hand back to its starting position. So you can push back into the left hand. Maybe bring the right arm up one more time, find a little bit of length. And then switching the sides, place the right hand into the middle. Bring the left arm up to the sky. As you exhale, bring the left arm underneath and focus on bringing left shoulder down. Again, you can keep this time the right arm in front of your face. Maybe reach it to the front or reaching up and over, grabbing the left opposite hip. I will keep the version with my right arm in front. There's also one that I really enjoy because I love to feel my rib cage expanding more, finding more length. And I'm not necessarily always looking for a deeper twist, right? So we always can find whatever it is that we're looking for in our practice and take that version to benefit us. Just 2 more breaths here. Relax it in and out through the nose. Try to make your breaths nice and long, nice and gentle. And also here, from wherever the arm is, slowly return the right hand back. Press into the right hand. As you press into the right hand, lift the left arm up to the sky. And place it back down. Take a moment to bring the big toes together. Bring the knees as wide as a mat. Push yourself back into your child's pose. Maybe relaxing forehead down to the floor, maybe elbows down. And take just a moment here to feel the heart slowly lowering a bit more down to the floor. Just taking another 2 breaths in our child's pose. Alright, slowly coming forward onto hands and knees. We're going to turn to our side, we're going to lay on our back. We're going for a little movement in our bridge pose. So laying on our bridge pose. We're going to bring the arms alongside the body so that our index finger and middle finger are just grazing our heels. Usually that's a good indication to find the correct distance for the heels to the butt ratio. Then for this one, we're just going to place our elbows next to our rib cage. We're going to tuck our tailbone under, so our low back now is touching the floor. And we're going to make a couple of movements here. So we're going to keep our elbows down, press into the feet, feel like you're squeezing a block between the thighs, tuck the tailbone under as your low back presses to the floor, and as you inhale, press the hips up to the sky. And as you exhale, lower all the way down. Keep that engagement into the legs. When the low back touches, inhale, lift the hips up. As you exhale, slowly lower down. As soon as you feel that the tailbone comes down to the floor to touch, lift it back up on the inhale. Keep going like this. On your exhale, lowering down. It doesn't matter if you move faster or slower. As soon as your tailbone touches, lift back up. Maybe with every press up, feel if you can reach the hips maybe just slightly higher, getting a little bit deeper, slowly lowering on your exhale. Feeling the vertebrae coming down, lifting the hips back up as soon as they touch. Floor, 2 more times, lifting up. Lowering the hips down slowly. As they touch the last one, lift it up. As you exhale, slowly lower down. As your back is onto the floor, bring the knees in towards your chest. Just hug the knees in. Maybe move a little bit from left and right. And then bring the feet back down. Bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to a reclining butterfly. Opening the hips here just for a moment, maybe placing the hands on the inner thighs or towards the knees. And just lay on your back, let the hips open for a moment. This will be the last one we do for this short, gentle warm-up sequence. So feel free to stay longer here if this feels really good to you. And also notice if you can bring your heels maybe closer in, maybe the knees lift a bit higher. And as you move your feet a little bit further away, maybe the hips can open a little bit more. Find that spot for you where your feet have the correct distance, where you feel a nice opening onto the inner thighs, opening into the hips. And just lay here for a moment on your back, closing the eyes. If you don't want to keep your hands onto the legs, maybe bring one hand to the belly, another hand to the heart. Focus on your breath. As you feel that breath coming in, feel that wave as you breathe out. Now again, option to stay here or slowly bring the knees back together into the middle. Maybe hug the knees in one more time. Squeeze it in nice and tight. And then if you like to, you can grab the knees or the shins with your hands and just roll up and down a couple times on the back. And then the last one, just come up to seated or take a couple more if that feels really fun. All right, so thank you all for joining in this nice little warm-up sequence. I hope there's a lot of them inside that you love to use or will use the next time that you go into any practice and looking for a warm-up. From me and Ellie, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much, guys. See you.